Donald Trump is feeling the wrath once again from a key voting bloc in his coalition who has taken credit for his win. And now these voters who say that Trump lied to them are threatening to withdraw their support of him and are promising to never again help somebody like Trump get to the White House. Yeah, that's right. These voters are just now realizing that Trump is not a man of his word. My name is Brett Meiselas with the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe and help us get to 4 million subscribers. Libertarian voters are already feeling slighted by Donald Trump and his new administration. Libertarians at least claim to be about very small government, and they are now seeing Trump trying to increase the power of the federal government like never before. But perhaps what is making them most upset is this. Do you remember when Trump went to the Libertarian convention back in May and he tried to kick out all the libertarians and replace them with MAGA loyalists? Well, when that didn't work out, Trump got ruthlessly booed and he began making promises to the libertarians to try to win them over. One of these promises was telling them that he would commit to having a libertarian in his cabinet and in high-level positions. Now, I know we are trying not to show clips of Trump here, but I'm going to take exception to this short clip of Trump being booed, and I want to remind you of this moment so that we could track the history of the fallout between Trump and the libertarians. Watch this.
That is why I'm committing to you tonight that I will put a libertarian in my cabinet and also libertarians in senior posts. Pretty good. That's pretty big. Or you can keep going the way you have for the last long decades and get you 3% and meet again, get another 3%.
So now Trump has picked all of his major nominees for his cabinet, and guess what? He did not select a single libertarian. Wait, Trump lied? Obviously, I'm being sarcastic, but the libertarians who supported Trump and take credit for his win are genuinely furious. Chase Oliver, a libertarian who ran for president, wrote the following: "So now we have an entire cabinet roster, 0 libertarians. This should surprise no one, but I imagine there's a few folks who feel like Trump lied to them. Yes, he did. It's what he does. He's part of the same political machine that the Libertarian Party has always opposed since our founding in 1971. Get ready for more lies and disappointment, and let's all get to work building a party that will grow and challenge the broken two-party system. My work is just getting started. #Libertarian. Then somebody responded to Chase saying, quote, "I don't remember Trump promising to pick libertarians," to which Chase replied, "I do. I was in the room when he did. We've been given assurances by the Libertarian National Committee chair for months, and yet we do not have any libertarians or even a libertarian in the cabinet. The moral of the story, don't trust the two-party system. I didn't, and I won't." A libertarian podcaster reposted the video of Trump that I showed you before and wrote, quote, "Respectfully, I would love to know what happened to this promise. I was sitting 5th row center stage. At minimum, I would like an explanation. I think many of us would." A fan of that podcaster replied, quote, "Politicians lie because it is in their nature. He got your vote, and that's all he needed from you. Guys like you and @comic Dave Smith are the ones who taught me lessons like that, yet you still voted for him. I'm not here to give you shit for that. I get why you did it. I just find it a bit ironic that you seem surprised this is the result." End quote. The Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, who has written some of the most reprehensible things that I've seen online, and that is saying a whole lot, wrote, quote, "Libertarians won the election for Donald Trump. If Trump does not fulfill his side of the bargain, then libertarians should win the election for someone more honest next time." Nicholas Sarwark, who is the head of the Libertarian Party Institute, posted an image of the cabinet picks and wrote, quote, "There are no libertarians pictured below. This is unsurprising." Republican Senator Rand Paul, who considers himself a libertarian, went on CBS over the weekend and spoke out against Trump's plans to send the military into cities to conduct mass deportations. To be clear, he's not against the mass deportations, just the big government way that Trump wants to go about it. Watch this.
if they send the Army into New York and you have 10,000 troops marching, carrying semi-automatic weapons, I think it's a terrible image and I will oppose that. But it's not that I oppose removing people. I just object to what has been against the law for over 100 years, and that's using the Army.
But deputizing the National Guard, that specifically is the proposal. You also oppose that.
I don't think it's the best way to do it. It's less clear whether that's legal or illegal. Typically, it has to be done at the behest of the governors. I still don't like a militarization of police, whether it's National Guard or Army. I think there's a lot of FBI.
Okay.
There's a lot of Border Patrol agents. There's a better way to do it, and it needs to be individualized. That doesn't mean I'm any less serious about getting it done. It just needs to be done according to the law and consistent with our traditions.
And Rand Paul has been hitting the MAGA TV circuit as well to get this message out. On Newsmax, Paul said, quote, "I will not support an emergency to put the army into our cities. I think that is a huge mistake." Paul also added that while he is supportive of Trump and, quote, "removing people illegally here, particularly people who have committed crimes, he doesn't want the army to be used to do so." Quote, "I'm not for the army marching up and down our streets," said Paul. Meanwhile, other Trump voters beyond just libertarians, we're talking like traditional MAGA voters, DeSantis voters, and beyond, are also increasingly unhappy with his picks. A lot of Trump voters are very upset that Trump picked Dr. Janet Nashewat to be the Surgeon General because, well, she believes COVID exists and that vaccines are good. This 2021 screenshot of an exchange between MeidasTouch editor-in-chief Ron Filipkowski and Dr. Nashewat is going viral on MAGA Twitter right now. Ron had posted a video of a MAGA woman saying that the pandemic was over, and then Trump's Surgeon General pick had responded, quote, "Sadly, the pandemic is not over. There are mobile morgues in Florida, Alabama, and there is a shortage of oxygen in Louisiana, South Carolina. There's a lack of ICU beds. Hospitalizations in kids is highest ever. Deaths have gone up 1,200 per day. Do not give up. Get vaxxed." Just for a second, isn't it wild that that's why MAGA doesn't like her? Just such a bizarro world. John Cardillo, who is a pro-Trump pundit, also appears to be furious at Donald Trump's selections. This is what he wrote about Trump's pick for Treasury Secretary, a guy by the name of Scott Bessent. He quoted a CNN piece that said, "Jay Timmons, the Manufacturing Trade Group CEO, who in January 2021 called for Vice President Mike Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment to remove Trump from power, praised Trump's decision to hire Bessent." And then he added, quote, "This will be a solidly establishment administration." Here were some of the replies that he received. Somebody by the name of Rhino Hunter wrote, quote, "This is another terrible Trump pick, associated with Soros for years. Trump is establishment." Another user said, quote, "Judging from the reaction of our opposition, you might just be right. What a shame. We did not vote for this." Somebody else replied, "So disappointed in so many selections. This one, a Soros former employee, I read as well." Cardillo responded, quote, "Bessent was much more than a Soros employee. He was a partner at Soros funds for years, who then received a $2 billion investment from Soros in 2015 to start his own fund." Another wrote, quote, "A couple good picks and the rest are seriously just as bad as last time." Another Trump supporter is using a very threatening tone towards Trump, as Yashar Ali notes. Scott Ritter, a convicted pedophile, a disgraced U.S. Marine, a good friend of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., is using a very threatening tone here, Ali said. Interesting. This tweet from Ritter that he shared said, "We made our will crystal clear. No to war, F around and find out. Even Trump is not immune to the will of the people. He promised no war. He better effing deliver." And this is, I think, in response to Trump stocking his administration full of known war hawks. Meanwhile, over on Truth Social, they are making some pretty big discoveries over there. A user by the name of Real MAGA Patriot 777 wrote, "Wait, China doesn't pay the tariffs, all caps. Yep, the find out stage has officially begun ahead of schedule. Meanwhile, it's important that we still highlight the good of the Biden-Harris administration because we know that Trump is going to try to take credit for it. As of Monday, the White House says that $1 trillion of private sector money has now been put towards clean energy technology and manufacturing. These investments were spurred by Biden legislation such as the Inflation Reduction Act, the Infrastructure Act, and the CHIPS Act. Another reason why this is interesting, these huge sums of private sector money pouring into the economy and the popularity of the legislation's tax credits and more may just make it less appealing for Trump to try to roll back at least one key aspect of Biden's agenda. This is going to be something that Trump and his administration are going to have to confront, and that's people realizing that they actually like and rely on the bills signed into law by President Biden. Remember when Mike Johnson was asked recently if he would try to get rid of the CHIPS Act, and he said yes, and then he had to pretend that he misheard the question after because of the outrage his comments received? That's an example right there of why your voices still matter, even in this Trump era. So get loud, continue to make noise, do not let them take away your will to fight because that is exactly what they want. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe. Also, remember to go ahead and give us a follow over at Blue Sky. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.
Hey Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.